Something just came across my joint that said Judge lets 9/11 family members of victims sue Saudi Arabia for helping the hijackers. How did Saudi Arabia help the hijackers again? I don't recall. What's up, family? What's Gucci? Tracy Simmons, Lewis, the one. What's happening? What's up? How y'all doing out there? I gotta ask this question, although I ain't really on that right now. But how y'all feel about the Young Thug scenario that's going on? Good afternoon, everyone. Where y'all from? Hit the like button. Let's get it started early, man. Yeah. I ain't gonna spend too much time on that Young Thug situation. For one, I don't really care about that matter. And two, I ain't listened to the whole thing, so that boy ratted. Somebody said he's a snitch, he's a rat. Good afternoon. I ain't listened to the whole thing. I'm gonna reserve my opinion. I heard the parts that everybody talking about though. I just got so much other stuff going on in Washington DC. I really didn't have 2 hours to listen to that shit. But y'all do know that that's not new. I heard that shit about the tour bus and all that other stuff a long time ago. Him and Zai, salute. What's up, bro? Come on, Mo. That boy ratted. So I'm making my key. I'm from DC and I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now I love y'all men doing at home. Appreciate the love. Salute. Yo, what's up with them cats? They got jammed up in DC. Oh, you saw that? In my opinion, bro, that's kind of like a little boy investigation right there. They got $50,000, a couple guns, and no drugs. But they got wiretaps. You know, you don't need no drugs when they got wiretaps. You know what they gonna do, right? They mentioned something about 17 gallons of PCP and some fentanyl. You know what they about to do, right? They about to hit them with the ghost drug blip. They said that they specifically used Title III wiretap. Those of us who really know what they know the Title III wiretap is the tap on the phone. Milwaukee in the house. Okay, shout out to Wisconsin, bro. Did they bring back the death penalty in the city? Remember this, more man. The death penalty in DC on a local level is something that has to be voted for. They're not gonna change that overnight. What I believe Trump is talking about is applying the federal death penalty more. Although, that's a tricky situation too, because you can't apply the federal death penalty without at least 2 things present. One is a hate crime, which they charging a dude with. They caught the bodies outside the Israeli embassy, or some other federal crime that a killing occurred in. What do I mean by that? Let's say kidnapping. Let's say bank robbery. We could just stop there. Or drug dealing. If they could connect your violent crime, be it murder or attempted murder, with those type of crimes, then Trump, Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General, or Janine Pirro, who's the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, they don't need nothing else to charge you with the death penalty. Remember, 848B, which is the Kingspin statute, B, 848B, which is a Kingpin statute, it carries the death penalty. Other federal charges like that murder for hire Lord Dirt Gap, it carries the death penalty. They just didn't certify him for the death penalty. But remember this too. If they was to bring the death penalty to DC, it would be like no other place in the country. Why do I say that? You only get prosecuted for felonies in the District of Columbia by the United States Attorney's Office, okay? So since the United States Attorney's Office is doing such, in order for them to do it the regular way in DC, they would have to bring the death penalty back in local DC law. The death penalty has never went anywhere in federal law. But DC residents typically don't vote for the death penalty. And in federal court, juries, even if they convict you of a crime that carry the death penalty, in DC, most juries won't vote won't vote to put you to death. It's a fact. You could Google it. What does "you want it to be one way" mean? You want it to be one way. I don't know what that means. I think I heard it before. I don't know what it means. I ain't gonna try to figure it out neither. On my mother, I ain't gonna try to figure it out. I was locked up with the men. Moon, Big Sight, Tone, Sean, and the rest of the good men I've been trying to reach fly. It's an old dude that said he knew Holmes. Slim is a boxing promoter. It's an old dude. Is the last name Muhammad? Ike's man, what it do? With gentrification and gerrymandering, them folks just might. You saying that they just might, bro? You got to understand DC local law, gerrymandering, and whatever word you use, gentrification. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Remember, half the people here are still black, and the black voter, when it comes to the death penalty, and when it comes to liberal states and cities, most time they don't vote for death. I'm just telling you the facts. GOP official accused of drugging girlfriend. Drugging what? It means you want it to be your way and your way only. That's from, oh, the wife. That came from The Wire. With gentrification and gerrymandering, blase, it means, hey, good brother, off the subject. Michael Parsons got traded. I saw that. He ain't, I ain't too much interested in the trade. He went to the Packers, I believe. That ain't gonna help us. My bad. Good afternoon, good people. Essential Journey, what's up? How you doing? His name KK. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I don't think I know him. I know a couple. Oh, dude, the brother I know from Chattanooga, Tennessee, his name is Jahad. I was about to say I couldn't remember his right name. Shout out to my man Jahad from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and shout out to my man Jabir from Louisville, Kentucky. I can't really answer that question about if I was the mayor, what would I do to stop killings? I don't have a full understanding. I don't know. I'm not mayor. I don't have no inspirations or aspirations to be a mayor. I don't know. And for me to try to answer the question, I would have to get into some law enforcement shit. That just ain't my thing. Walaikum salam, rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Residence referendum 1992. You right, E. DC residents ain't. Oh, hey, him as I love that you look shit up when I be talking, bro. Not because you gonna support what I'm saying, but you will go look it up and you'll see it. I was on the street 92. DC residents said no emphatically, bro. He said resident referendum 1992. You right, E. DC residents ain't going for it. DC residents as a whole, collectively, don't believe in the death penalty. That don't mean that they don't believe that you should be punished. That just means that they don't believe in the death penalty being administered by the federal government. That's the only person that's going to administer it here. Do you know if they was to pass a death penalty type law or charge you with a death penalty crime in DC federal court, they got to send your ass all the way to Terry Hut, Indiana, on death row to kill you? Joe Biden just pardoned something like 38, 39 people on death row. There's only 3 people on death row in the United States federal government side, period. That's the boy that shot everybody in the church of South Carolina. That's the police dude, Glenn Davis from New Orleans, who really was born in Chicago, Illinois somewhere. And then the dude that shot all the people at the synagogue in Pittsburgh. Biden got rid of everybody on death row. I ain't gonna say pardon, but a commutation of sentence is similar. Yep, residence referendum, 1992. What's good, E? What it do, bruh? DC don't need all the bullshit Trump be bringing. OG Big E, how you living? What you thankful for today? I'm thankful just to be alive and free, bruh. I mean, I could go into other specifics, but those 2 are good enough for me. Free and alive, free and alive, free and alive. No, as long as you free and alive, you could figure out how to do everything else. Would you agree? Stop you making a camp in front of you. I don't know what you mean. What up, E? Roanoke tapping in, bro. Shout out to Roanoke. You look like Skeet. What's up? Oh, handsome. What's up, E? Man from out of Brooklyn, New York. Shout out Brooklyn. Got some real steppers out of Brooklyn. I see them guys in Philly got caught for that armored truck. I seen somebody else talk about it. I ain't really following it too tough. Slimming down 30 and was an 80X and somewhere else with Mayor Bowser called for the National Guard back in 2022. I don't recall that, but a couple other people did. The National Guard was standing outside today with them pistols out, and them rifles on they around their neck. I heard them. Your problems are little. I think that's what you're saying. There's like over 2K people on death row in the States. Brother, I'm gonna say it again. I ain't even gonna say nothing slick to you. I'm talking about on federal death row. There's only 2 people on federal death row in Terry Hut. I don't know if anyone else, 3 people, I mean. I don't know if anyone else getting sentenced to death yet, sent to death row in Terry Hut. Can you name them? I just named the 3 people on death row in the feds. I'm not talking about the United States, bruh. Every state that has the death penalty still has a death row. Good thing who wasn't in Texas. You can look it up, Google it. That's one thing we do over here in the chat. We Google it. If I say something, you check it. If I say something, you check it. With a portion of healthy. Oh, I like that. What's your exercise and diet on the day? I did some pull-ups today. I ain't do nothing major. My diet was good. I ate some almonds and some pistachios and got in there a little chicken. Oh, chicken, rice, and broccoli. How you feel about Trump wanting the death penalty in DC? Don't know if you already spoke on it. I did, but that ain't no bad question. How do I feel about it? I'm not a fan of the government's version of the death penalty, and DC ain't executed nobody since 1957. That's on a regular tip. Federally, they try people. How do I want to say it? Federally, they've tried several people in federal court for death penalty eligible cases. DC juries don't vote for it. So that's what I think about the death penalty. And if they ask the DC resident to vote for it to bring it back locally, I doubt that'll happen. Federally, you got to have another charge to go with it. So we're going to see how they're going to play it. I think that's a far stretch right there. I think that's a big reach. They said the feds took over Union Station. What does that mean? It just means they're going to be managing Union Station. The feds own Union Station. They lease it out for management to people like Amtrak. They just took it back from Amtrak. That's not nothing neither. Who really cares about who manages Union Station when it comes to DC home rule and stuff like that? Trump said Chicago was next on the list. Did you hear that? I heard that, but I need to see it now. Dudes don't know the difference between state and federal. Nobody can say E. Not about education, because he be schooling fools daily on the lab. I just be giving a little what I know. Fighting a death row sentence and being on death row, two different things. That's correct. Kabani Savage and ADX fighting the death row sentence. Okay. He was sick. Kabani was sentenced to death. I thought he was sentenced to life. I thought he fought that and the jury didn't convict him for the death penalty. They didn't sentence him to death. I don't believe Kabani Savage is sentenced to death. He's sentenced to life, right? How we feeling today? All is well? Pretty roster. That was still a good question, though. I hurried up back on the plane, and I wanted to get up with the guys. Inshallah, I'll be there in 2 weeks. Okay. Chirac says they want the marijuana with Trump. Oh, okay. It also speaks on Joe Biden commuting sentences of 37 inmates. I said that. Didn't I say that? I said 37 or 38. I think it was 40 there. I said that. And that's off the top of the head. I ain't got no notes right here now. Only 27 states have the death penalty. Okay. Damn, I'm born and raised in DC and never knew the feds owned Union Station. The feds own most of this shit here, bruh. Don't feel no type of way. Laugh out loud. This should be obvious that I think about it. Yeah, off topic. What do you think about the dating scene in the DMV? I ain't really no expert on that one right there. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I mean, DC is diverse. It got overturned to life, but was sentenced to death. Yeah. He got a life sentence. That's why he in the X. Stop humor. What's the hardest part of a vegetable to eat? The wheelchair. I don't know about none of that. Yes, you did, bro. Does the sex offender registry prevent crimes? Maybe that's a question for the chat. I don't know. Hey, what up, bro? What it do, Bobby Thomas? Trump tried to send the National Guard here in Baltimore, but our governor said, hell no. He could still find a way to send National Guards there. He just got to make some type of federal emergency or an excuse. I mean, remember what he did in DC? He said he was doing it based on crime emergency, but as soon as he got his way, what did they go after? They went after the immigration stuff. Philly Eagles, what's up? Damn, they say keep your eyes on Texas succession to progress. I don't think so. Somebody say no, the sex registry doesn't prevent crimes. I don't think it does. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't think it prevents crimes. If you just want my answer, my little 2 cents. They had the feds in Baltimore the night of the riots. I saw them on my Terrence Gangster Williams has been on YouTube with a dude he used to go to war against in the streets. Have you ever got cool with a dude you used to consider an enemy? Yes. I mean, a couple dudes that was my enemies in juveniles, in the juvenile junk, we went to war together, I guess you could say, in the feds. Damn, me and my Giants play your team week 1. Not to get off topic. That ain't never off topic. We can't wait to see New York. Lady Ma Salon, old young thug, a super rat. That's how you feel, Luke Ma? Luke Ma said, I've been staying away from that thug conversation because I ain't listened to the whole thing. What's up, brother? Jaleel, what it do? Don't start that, E. All right. I'm watching from Baltimore City. Peace. Shout out to Baltimore City. Bodymore Murderland. You go see what Russell Wilson got. Nah, I love y'all quarterback. He like that, man. Appreciate it. I like Russell Wilson too, but I like my quarterback a little bit better. Question, is it true? The guys from DC run the federal. I don't say that. So you're not gonna get that out of me. I don't consider it a flex to say a group of people run a federal prison system. But I ain't gonna say DC run the feds. I can't say that. I mean, and some of these federal jumps, they got their own set of rules. That thug situation was AI. Damn. I listened to the entire interview 3 to 4 times. He did his big one. Whoa. And that come from a person that know what they talking about. But like I said, I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't listen to him. Everybody who I respect their opinion said they listened to it, said it ain't right. I know I heard clips of it. So for those that say it's AI, I did hit clips of it long before this part came out. Keep it 100 with you. Somebody said DC don't run no feds. Let me ask you this, Faison Samson. Who do run the feds? I ain't say DC run the feds, but who do run the feds? The BOP run the feds, right? I mean, you say DC don't run the feds, I want to ask you who do. How would you know if it was AI or not AI? I ain't say that. Somebody else said that, so I'm going to let them answer that question. Somebody say the feds. No one. The police. Yeah, the feds run the feds. They pack you up and ship you out. The damn feds. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we gonna say over here. The feds run that shit. Do you think people who was in ADX that may have gotten the death penalty thought they should have just went to the chamber after 10 years of no movement? I ain't gonna say that. I don't know nobody in ADX that's sitting at ADX with the death penalty. When you get the death penalty, they send you to Indiana. I just got released from federal prison after doing 18 years, and 75% of my salaries was from DC. Them some good men that I'm still in contact with. Dudes just got to stop hating on them dudes. Okay, Mayor. Salute. Almost 6 o'clock. I gotta get out of here, y'all. Salute.
That's why they keep moving people around so they won't get too comfortable. You ever think about interviewing my ladies who was locked up to see what it was like on their side, from their perspective? Yeah, I got a couple of them Jones lined up. I gotta get ready to run, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, man. I'll be back later on. Check out the new videos I got.